I went down a rabbit hole recently. Not literally, because I wouldn't fit. Because as that chap at the start of the stream pointed out, I'm fat, I'm bald. Loves me though, apparently. So I went down a rabbit hole on, I don't even know when it was, a few fucking days ago. And you may recall, if you're a regular viewer of the stream, I was like, yeah, we'll do some gameplay streams. I've been getting all my shit set up. That's another thing I've been busy. I'm going to get a better camera than I've been just using a webcam. And, I'm going to change all that. And, it's a bit grainy when XDefil and Griff are doing the editing. So I'm going to change all that stuff. But we're going to do, I was going to do a bunch of game playthroughs, and I was like, yeah, I think one week we'll do a Fallout week where, maybe we start with Fallout 2, because even though Fallout 1 is the better game out of the original two, I don't think a lot of people can sort of, like, Fallout 2 is a bit more well liked by the Zoomers. So I was going to start like Fallout 2, Fallout 3, New Vegas, Fallout 4, obviously all the DLC. Although you can definitely miss out Mothership Zeta, because that is fucking trash and awful, and is equally as bad as the thing I'm going to be talking about in a moment. But anyway, so I was going to do it. So and I believe in serendipity. There was this new mod that had been announced, right? 7 years of work. I'd been following it. And it, changed its name, changed this, changed that. And they were going to release this new mod, and it became, Fallout, the Frontier. And so I downloaded it on the day it was released. Downloaded it. And I was like, right, I tell you what, I'll incorporate this into my playthrough. Because it's new content. No one's seen it before, And there's some good mods for Fallout New Vegas, but they all suffer from the same problem of being unbelievably short, because a lot of the time it's like one person, two people. The level of work that goes in, especially if you're doing it for free and it's like a hobby and you've got a full-time job and a family, you end up, like with 7 hours of content after like 2 years. And they're all right, but 7 hours of content is fuck all, especially in a Fallout game, right? You're just getting started, in Fallout New Vegas. But this was a hotly anticipated mod. 7 years of work, a team, about a dozen people, professional voice acting, supposedly. And it got released, and I was like, well, I didn't think too much of it because I didn't want to see any spoilers, because remember, I was going to play through it. Not now. And I started checking the Fallout subreddits, and I went on my Discord, and somebody told me, yeah, that Fallout mod, yeah, it's been removed from Nexus Mods now, and we don't even know if it's going to be on their Steam page. And I went, why? What the fuck's happened there? Was it a game-breaking bug or whatever? Nah, one of the people who made the game posted some, like, pedophilic content on DeviantArt or something, and I was like, so they had to go in, and I'm going to show you all of this stuff. They pulled the mod on that base. That's why the mod's been pulled. There was plenty of other reasons to pull it as well, because when I show you some of this stuff, you won't believe it. So it's not there. There's a warning sign there now. In fact, actually, hang on, I can show you that. When you go to Nexus Mods, this is what it says. Some deeply concerning news has emerged in the past few hours, We have been recently notified one of the developers on the mod had posted animated pedophilic content on their personal artist accounts. The items in question are deeply disturbing for the entire team. We condemn them in the strongest sense. They've now been removed from the development team and banned from our community Discord. We will be conducting dialogue with members of the development team to hear their thoughts regarding the current situation and help make our decision more informed. We have stopped production and work on the mod to address the current events properly. More measures will be undertaken and a more detailed address will be posted soon. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed both in the mod and outside of it belong solely to the authors of who write them and not on the mod's organization, community, or any other group or individual. So I was like, fucking hell, what an absolute train wreck. 7 years! So before we get into all of the stuff that's in the game, let me tell you, this mod, it turns out, is an absolute clusterfuck. And if you ever work on a project, this is why we have hierarchical structures, guys. Because someone has to be capable of making the final call. People need to know what they're doing, and they need to be able to delegate to people who can do those things for them, and everyone needs to keep track of the workflow. But when it comes down to it, when there's a crunch decision to be made, there has to be one voice who can preside over everything and say, no, do it this way. This mod team didn't work this way at all. It was actually a group of disparate mod makers who came together because one guy who made the one of the mods was really what the core of the mod, actually, the NCR questline. He was a really good mod maker, really good at scripting, you know, and he made this mod, the core of the mod, basically just to show off his technical prowess. The problem was he said, if you make me change any part of this mod, I will leave and take my content with me, and you will have absolutely nothing. So everyone else on the moderator team, it wasn't really a team, they came in and started adding bits on, and basically they were just a group of Discord gremlins. And when you see this, like, fetishists and weirdos and terrible, like, they've never talked to another human being, the dialogue's absolutely awful. It's really weird shit you shouldn't put in a video game. And then, how do you go 7 years without even thinking, yeah, that guy who's got that username that I'm not saying, everywhere else all over the internet, maybe we should just have a check and make sure that, you know, this person's not into anything weird. You know, you would vet people, right? Like, put it this way. If I'm working with you, I'm going to do a background check. Doesn't have to be intense. But, you know, if I type your name in Google and the first thing that comes up is something awful, probably not going to, like, align myself with you. Probably not going to risk my reputation being hit because of the shit you did. Just a thought. They didn't even think to do that, despite being a pack of Discord gremlins. They didn't even think. So, I don't even know where to begin. It made the news. It was reported on PC Gamer. And when I read you their report, you are immediately going to realize just what a terrible job was done here. Massive fallout. New Vegas mod, The Frontier, taken offline by its creators. It was taken off for the thing that we talked about. But let me read you more. There's the message that I just read you. Shut up. Here we go. Players have previously raised concerns over some of the Frontier's content and the way it's written. In particular, a teenage girl who can be made into a player character's sex slave, a settlement of reptile people who have sex with humans. Oh, and a settlement of reptile people who have sex with humans. While the Fallout games have dealt with adult themes and let players behave in morally reprehensible ways and not shied away from slavery in particular, even players impressed by the mod's technical achievements have been critical of its fetishized characters. So this is what happens when a bunch of fucking weirdos get together to create a mod. You end up with just absolute nonsense. First of all, as well, the person who got removed from the team inserted themselves into the game, inserted their persona into the game, and is like a talking fucking what are they? Are they the Robotrons? Or is that a protector bot? I don't know.
Who's here? You! How about that?
Securitron.
I see you found this dev room. This probably means that you beat in the game. Congratulations. So, do you want to ask me what my contributions were to the frontier? Or something?
No, I don't want to talk to you at all, actually. Interestingly enough, the conversation ends with...
Stay safe.
Which I'll do by avoiding you, you fucking creepy weirdo. But anyway, and the person in the game definitely has the right choice. Yep, that's what I would have done in a video game. Anyway, the person in particular put also, remember, they've got a fucking persona there of they put in a hidden area a plushie of themselves that you can find, a limited edition Lucky Skunk plushie in the game. So this is already terrible. This is already awful, right? I never thought in mainstream games reporting I would ever see the words lizard people who have sex with humans that live in a sewer. It's like, guys, please. Like, and so I found this YouTube account called Rostock because I was seriously considering like installing this garbage because apparently they're going to remove all of this content now. They're going to remove all of this stupid content from the game. So I was seriously considering installing it so I could see it for myself. Fortunately, I found a YouTube account where a guy went through and took all the worst stuff. So this is so bad. This is so cringe. I might have to fuck waiting for 2. I guess it's beer o'clock now.
Another human. Did you bring us more chems?
They're all addicted to drugs as well. And not the mod team.
Oh,
no, although that would
okay.
explain it. I mean,
That's
the lizard team.
That's fine. It's fine. Not exactly. The Queen asks that you surrender your weapons before entering the sewers.
A lot of humans find us attractive. I don't know how to feel about that. Well, I know how the Queen feels, at least. Are you not high? Disgusting.
Ah, yes, that's the good stuff. Oh, hey! Sorry for the wait. I was a bit busy with queenly matters.
Believe that's a euphemism.
Mercury Runner said there was a new human. She didn't say you were so attractive.
I might have to leave it there. I can't do this. This is awful. This is actually awful. I can't do 5 more minutes. I can't. Right? So anyway, that that is just a glimpse of this little area, this little dungeon that they made. But it doesn't end there. The story, just so you guys know, is you go there. And you can exchange drugs and have sex with like lizard people. I just don't even know why you put this in a Fallout game. Now, hang on, I'm gonna go big head. Oh no, if I go big head, I'll end up playing this again when I come back. I won't go big head. But anyway, look, so they've missed a really important opportunity. This is why Discord gremlins shouldn't write video games. But if you guys played old school Fallout, like I remember in Fallout 2, there was an equally ridiculous storyline about, a talking Deathclaw. And Fallout 2 was a little bit too wacky for my tastes after the first one. And there was a talking Deathclaw, a community of Deathclaws that had taken over one of the vaults. I haven't played Fallout 2 in fucking 15 years or something. But anyway, the point being, you could have made a really good connection. You could have made a really good connection here about bringing back maybe the talking Deathclaws and, how it all happened. No, you didn't. Instead, you let a scaly write a weird fucked up bit where you exchange sex for drugs with lizard people. There's a guy in the background here, and he goes, "Don't judge me." Where is it? Look at this dialogue. Oh God, there he is. And he's called a Trachilli breeder.
Judge me.
Don't judge me. And he's wearing hot pants.
Only here for the chems. Don't judge me.
Sounds like Davey. It sounds like Davey. Listen, that sounds like fucking Davey.
I'm only here for the chems. Don't judge me.
Oh my fucking God. That's crazy. Oh no. Oh no, no. I'm only here for the CS. Oh my God. So anyway, yeah, this is absolutely awful. It's awful. But there was an opportunity to do something good with it. If you just had a bit more guile and creativity in your writing, knew a bit more about the franchise. I find it very hard to believe that these people are dedicated fans. Then, for some reason, this storyline, it's not even linked to the storyline. It's just another scene they put in. Sex with a Deathclaw. You can have sex with a Deathclaw in this mod. I don't know why that's a thing. An entity of pure lust. Think you can outlast me in the sack? Not in a million years. Tear off your pants. I get to be on top the entire time, though. Agility 7. I'm a sick fuck. I like a quick fuck. Agility. Why? So, it doesn't show anything. It's not graphic. It's just a Deathclaw jumping up and down. Because it's actually not a well-scripted event. In fact, it's actually a broken quest in the mod. Where what was supposed to happen is after you do it, you're meant to wake up with all your limbs broken, but instead that doesn't trigger. So, but why is this in a game? Why would you, what world who sits down, right, when you're on the writing team and you're kicking ideas around for a Fallout mod, and you go oh, hey, yeah, I've got some good ideas. What about the Legion have decided to move into Oregon? Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, and they found a supply of gas and they're gonna make some cars. Okay, yeah, I suppose it's plausible. There could be some undiscovered reserves. Who knows what's been going on since the bombs dropped? What about you have sex with a Deathclaw? Who is going? Yeah, great. Who says yeah? Great idea. Great concept. So anyway, it gets worse. Some of the dialogue in this is outrageous. Some of the dialogue in this is so outrageously bad. This is another clip from that.
I'm May, by the way.
So this is a character in the game called May. It's awful. It's just awful. They said when all of this drama like blew up, they said they made this character to be like a mockery of like a professional Tumblr artist.
Professional failure. When I'm not hanging out with Chloe or climbing the overpass, I'm here drawing porn. Occasionally non-porn, but mostly porn.
You see, when the bombs drop, and when the bombs drop, we're gonna need to keep certain skills in place. You know, we're gonna have to keep certain skills in line for the essential goodness of humankind. And one of the things you will absolutely be able to keep doing in a post-apocalyptic wasteland is spend your time idly drawing porn for distribution among whichever little group of people, group of survivors you've shacked up with.
I'd be willing to give you some if I had any, but Chloe always gets them first. Friend privileges. I'm just bored and hungry. I'm hungored. Duh. Besides people stealing our caps, nothing happens here. One of these days, I'm going out into the wastes, and then I can have drugs and do sex.
Now, you might notice there is a difference to what she said and what is on the screen. That is because when the voice actor got the line, they were like, do we really need that thing there? Given that this will be distributed in America, where in a lot of places the age of consent is 18. So we'll take that out. But they left it in on screen because it's just, everything's just creepy in this game. Then there is another bit in the game where you can engage in something called negging, where you basically psychologically break down a woman to acquiesce to being your slave because she would rather that than be alone. I'll read this to you. You can call her an ungrateful brat. And she says, what should I do? You won't abandon me. You still want me. And then, I promise we'll stay together. But now you're going to be my little slave girl. Put this collar on. If it's what I have to do to not be alone, give me the collar, master. And there she is in a collar. And then she greets you as master for the rest of the game. What I don't understand here is, karmically, it says you're a smiling troublemaker for enslaving another human being. People know you're good at heart, even though you're occasionally a troublemaker. I don't know, maybe putting someone in slavery deserves a bit more of a condemnation. And for those who are asking, is that Photoshop? No, that's actually real dialogue in the game. I've double-checked it. I've triple-checked it. I have seen the video footage of it playing. It's ridiculous. Not even the end of it. There was fucking hell. I mean, just the writing in general is bad, but there's also a bit where that same character, let me, hang on. I just got to find a screenshot of it. Yeah, here we go. Right, so there's even a bit, like, just in case the fetishizing overload wasn't enough for everybody, there's this as well, where she just says, apropos of nothing, I'm dreading taking off my boots tonight after running around. Whew! My feet will probably put rotting fish to shame. Now, I don't know about foot fetishes, because I am not a foot fetishist. But I am told that a lot of foot fetishists like smelly feet. That's part of it. So, I don't know. I hate the smell of feet. Just even when they're, clean, essentially. You got that feet odor. But anyway, now I see a lot of people as well. Okay, you have noticed something. Yes, that character that you can put in a slave's collar is like the ones the Legion use is called America. And I've seen a lot of people say, well, that's a bit on the nose, isn't it? And yes, it is, because these people can't write. They're terrible. But I do want to remind you guys, because remember, I am a nerd and also a media student, and therefore cleverer than you doctors and engineers and everything, that in 1990, there was a comic released in the Judge Dredd series, written by the legendary John Wagner, which was called America, and the main character in it was called America. She was called America. It was about terrorism and in Mega City 1 and everything else. So, it's an interesting comic because in the comic, basically, it's about what would you be willing to do. Like, obviously, for those who I don't want to get into explaining 2000 AD while I overlap with Fallout stuff, but all the sort of survivors from a huge like nuclear war have all been collated into like one city that's habitable. They're called mega cities, vastly overpopulated slums, buildings layered on everything else. And to sort of keep law and order in place, the police force, which are massively understaffed, are judge, jury, and executioner. They don't, they've completely stripped down the legal process to making judges have complete authority. So what's interesting about Judge Dredd is an ethical, not ethical. He's a fascist with integrity. He isn't corrupt and won't do anything for personal gain, but he is still the tool the fascist regime use to brutalize its citizenry. So he's a very interesting character to explore, back when comics and writing could do that kind of thing. And in this story, which I don't think canonically makes a lot of sense, Judge Dredd sort of questions some of the aspects of, what it is to live in a fascist society, and has maybe glimmers of sympathy towards the terrorists that are trying to fight back. Doesn't really make a lot of sense, but that person was called America. We all know about America. We know about in 1990, America, coming out of the 80s, obviously, American foreign policy, etc., etc. It writes itself. Having a character called America in the game that you can enslave is pretty weak sauce. It's pretty pathetic, honestly, and when you then convolute it with a weird stinky foot fetish on top, I don't know, not for me. Anyway, as I said, it doesn't end there. While this game was being developed, the development, the mod developers would do live streams and give people updates and stuff like that, right? And when people were asking about the game, one of the things that came up is would you be able to play as the Enclave? Now, if you're not a Fallout aficionado, basically the Enclave was sort of after the post-war, it was meant to be a continuation of government, and it kind of went a bit crazy and a bit rogue and very fascistic, but it was the surviving elite And you had, obviously, Big Frank Horrigan as the enforcer. And they treated the surviving people in the wasteland as sort of assets. They themselves engaged in slavery, forced labor, or they would force you to join the military aspect of them if they were looking to expand. They considered mutants, ghouls, even non-feral ghouls, to be like an anathema, and wanted to eradicate them. Similar in a way to the Brotherhood of Steel in that regard. But anyway, which represent a more kind of religious fanaticism. But that's what the Enclave were. They were essentially the government taken to its fascistic conclusion in a wasteland. And a lot of people are interested in playing as them because they're a faction that I don't think's even been in Fallout. They've been mentioned and alluded to, but haven't played a major part since Fallout 2, where, as I said, Frank Horrigan was the main antagonist of that game. But anyway, people were excited because they were like, well, you know, it's a mod, and the Enclave are mentioned in it. Can we play as the Enclave? So, no. When this was brought up on a live stream, the developers of the mod, the devs, turned around, and one of them said, let me get the exact quote. No, we are not going to let players join the Enclave because it is a Trump supporter power fantasy, and the Enclave are literal fascists. Probably at that stage, alarm bells would be ringing for me about the kind of writing that was going into it. Now, I'll also add the caveat that everyone else on the development team of the mod, they've turned around and said that's just one person's opinion, doesn't represent all of us, etc., etc. But, you know, if I was hearing stuff like that, I probably don't let that person write things in the game, because then what ends up happening is you get these weird lines of dialogue in quests where, just to get rid of Stinky Feet lady there, you can see this is a recruiter for the Enclave, supposedly. It's actually a ruse. He's a fake recruiter for the Enclave. If you join, you lose all your gear, because obviously they couldn't reward you saying you want to join the Enclave. He's also called Tricky Dick. And yes, why would I want what you can say to the Enclave guy is, why would I want to join a racist, fascist, paramilitary organization that is objectively evil? Now, I'm going to go on a tangent. First thing about this caused like zero outrage in me, because they they are a racist, fascist, paramilitary organization. That is true. That is what the Enclave are. Long-standing fans of the franchise know that. But let me tell you why New Vegas endures to this day. Why is it one of the most talked about video games of all time? Why does it make people's #1 video game in lists routinely? Joseph Anderson, for example, I believe has it as his #1. It might even, was it Dark Souls? Anyway, it's 1 or 2, I think. You know, there's a lot of people who love video games that are enamored with Fallout New Vegas. Why? Why is that? And you can distill it down to what makes the game good. Sure, content, intelligent, open-ended quest lines, multiple solutions to problems, with genuine, visible, tangible repercussions for your actions. All of that's great, but that's not why it endures. Why it endures is because at its core, it is essentially a morality simulator. It is like sitting you down and doing one of those political tests. What does it say about you? What does it say about other people who think differently to you? What it presents the player with is a series of solutions to the problem of who should be given the Hoover Dam, and therefore the potential to generate power again in the wasteland, something of huge strategic importance. Who should be given it? And you choose the side. Now, this says a lot about you, because every version, every option, every choice is imperfect. A lot of people say NCR are the good guys. How can the New California Republic be the good guys? They are trying to restore the world to its previous position, which of course brought about the war, brought about the bombs. The NCR have an assumed arrogant authority. They believe that their cause is, righteous just as much as the Brotherhood of Steel. They want to bring us back to the status quo. Are the NCR the good guys? Do you, as a player, want to go back to the way things are, having seen the outcome of what the way things were leads to? Do you want to do that? Maybe you do. Maybe you think, hey, maybe you say things like, democracy ain't perfect, but it's the best system we got. And if you kind of think like that, you're probably an NCR playthrough kind of person. Next, you have the Legion. The Legion, the antagonists. Abominable. The Legion, for me, represent the dark, twisted side of, I don't want to say fascism, essentially, because that gets thrown around a lot. I always thought of them more as the kind of sort of clerical, religious zealotry. Obviously, there are fascistic mechanics within that. But for me, they always represented religious zealots, the idea of living in a totalitarian clerical state. Caesar does refer to himself as a fascist in the game, but I think he's an unreliable narrator in that sense. Let me establish what I mean by that. He himself is a god emperor, right? He is a god emperor. His will is law. It is mandated. He also claims to have access to texts and information that only he is intelligent enough to interpret. His will be done. But also they take a moral stance. Drug use, forbidden. Women forbidden from doing certain roles. They crucify people. They have this biblical form of punishment for people that deviate from their will. So it becomes more than fascism. We're talking about clerical, extremist clerical theocracies, and when they go bad, what they can look like. That is essentially what's going on with the Legion. Now, we've all done a Legion playthrough. We want to see what the flip side of that coin is. I hate to say it. I know people who go, look, the Legion do all these objectively evil things, but the ends are that we have a structured society where everyone understands everything again. Everyone is forged from steel. They are so unbelievably tough. We have eradicated certain vices that do nothing but erode, the common shared strength of humanity. And now we're in a position to push forward and expand across the wasteland. And maybe we can be something better in the future. It doesn't always have to be like this. And when you actually play through the game, the madness is the worst faction produces probably the objectively best outcome for the wasteland as a whole. Not for all the people who are tortured and killed and all the atrocities that are committed in its name, but just for what you are left with as an endgame state. And that makes people unbelievably uncomfortable. Because I also know people that will not play as the Legion ever. Like, man, how can you ever support crucifixion? The game gets into you so deep. It does become a reflection of self and what you're willing to explore as an idea. There are people who will play that game and they will never play Legion, right? So potent is their awfulness. And remember, right at the start of the game, you walk into the first town, everyone's fucking crucified. You see that guy, I won the lottery. You're like, well, what did you win? I get to live. What happens to everyone else? They get crucified. Yay! You're like, holy shit, who the fuck are these guys? So then you have the Legion. Then, and I always had a soft spot for him, me. Probably shouldn't say that. That's going straight to BuzzFeed. Mr. House. You know what? Always had a soft spot for Mr. House. The more and more I listen to Mr. House, the more sense he actually made. Let me tell you. Right? Mr. House, why does he appeal to me? Because he is somebody who says, listen, not everyone is intelligent. Not everyone is cut out to rule. Not all ideas are good. And I am a genius. And my way works. And I can prove it. because I preserved the Vegas Strip. I saved Las Vegas from the bombs. If I'd had a bit more time, I could have done more. And now I'm going to rule this place. And listen, I've got capitalism working again. We've got a thriving business. We've got, multiple businesses. We have an ecosystem. We have a fairly peaceful community. Just the occasional drunk and carouser, and there's some cannibals over there. But I know what's going on. He values information. Mr. House is essentially the idea of the technocrat. The technocrat oligarch. He wasn't a Zucker or a Zuckerberg or an Elon Musk before they even existed. And so even though I hate those guys in real life, I can understand for the wasteland in that game, yeah, actually, boy talks a lot of sense. He does talk some sense, doesn't he, Mr. House? Now, a lot of the antagonism that he brings is because he talks down to you. Because to him, you are a peon. You are a prole. You are a pleb. You are just a tool of his will. And so you think, well, maybe. But also, yeah. And then you have what many people consider the true ending. No gods, no masters. Where you essentially liberate New Vegas by working with Yes Man, a robot who is programmed to not disagree with anybody. He's considered a lovable character. It's really strange. Again, this game, this is what I mean, the layers in the writing. Yes Man is a character that has to agree with everything you say. He can't be in conflict with you ever. He's called Yes Man. He is programmed to be a sycophant. And because of that, when you start vibing with him and he works with you because you fuck with that chip in his brain, he agrees with you. All you've done is replace Mr. House, essentially. He'll do anything you want. And so you can win and give it over to the rabble, this mixed group of people, and Yes Man will protect and police those settlements with his new Securitron protocols. And it's actually not a great ending. Independence brings loads of problems to the wasteland, loads of border conflicts, disagreements about supplies, territory, and it's being policed by, this robotic police force that doesn't take direction from any of them. It's a mess. So all of the solutions are bad, but some are better than others, but there's all levels of badness within that. Oh, and every side quest you do, every major side quest, feeds in to the final look at the wasteland. It's a masterpiece. The game is a masterpiece, but it is a masterpiece because it makes you look inside yourself. So with that in mind, when you make a mod for that game, and you say, you can't play the Enclave, they're evil. Are they? I want to know. Yeah, okay, they're a fascist branch of government, and they're doing some heinous things, but I want to explore that in the game. That's what I got to do in Vegas. I can play as the Legion. What, you telling me they're more evil than the Legion? The Legion have literal slave labor camps. I don't know, guys. And so when you reject what made Fallout New Vegas one of the greatest games of all time, because you are like, no, we don't want to let players explore their morality, you've missed the point by a million miles. Even the fucking writers on Fallout 4 kind of understood what made New Vegas great. They just couldn't implement it with its stupid bullshit railroad fucking nonsense. They needed to go all in with you being a synth and not knowing it, and they wouldn't do it. If they'd done that, it fixes the game. Fixes all of the writing in the game. Not all of it. The password for the railroad secret hideout being railroad, for example, it's like, you never fix that. You never fix the kid in the fridge. You're never fixing that. But if you are a synth in Fallout 4, and it turns out you were Sean's final test, Sean was being pressed by the rest of the Institute to decide whether synths should be given freedom or not. He's got cancer. He's on the clock. He needs to decide. So he makes a replica of what he thinks his father would look like from all the information the Institute have gleaned. And he wants to know, will a father find his son against all the odds? Because if he does, it means synths are human, and therefore he will grant all synths their freedom. If that's the story, that's a banging fucking story. And it makes the quest insane, unbelievable. It explains so much about the game. You make dog meat, this perfectly healthy German shepherd in the middle of the wasteland. He's an Institute spy. They want to see what you're doing. How many side quests do you go on? It's all being fed back to Sean because he's got to know if you're a synth or not. That would have been perfect. It even ties into the major storylines at the Far Harbor DLC. How are you not going to do this? How do you not have the balls because you're worried about player agency in a game that is essentially its main quest is on rails anyway? Have the balls. Have the balls. But people don't get New Vegas. And because they don't get New Vegas, they can't replicate New Vegas. And Fallout 4 failed. And this mod, I mean, I didn't have high hopes for it. I had hopes it wouldn't be this comically bad, but, that's where we're at. Now, finally, just to get back to banging on this mod, the Enclave are in it. The Enclave are in it. And this mod was billed as being lore-friendly. And unfortunately, that is not true in the slightest. Because one of the storylines, remember when I talked about the Mothership Zeta DLC from Fallout 3? One of the storylines, this is so bad, I'm going to show you footage of it, is the Enclave have built a space station, and you have to fly up to that space station. I don't want to sound like Alan Partridge. Stop getting Bond wrong. This is not Fallout, right? But here we are. Oh, wait, that's the wrong link. My bad. This is the Enclave space station. There we are.
Everyone strapped in? Yeah, let's do this. All right.
So this is where you're flying to take on the Enclave in outer space. Look. Like, I just can't express this enough. Like, you have to draw a line. Motherfucking space stations, like, humanity's on its fucking knees. Even the Enclave. That's why they're trying to kill everyone off. They haven't even got the numbers to do the things they want to do. Look at this space station! How? When did you build this? How did you do this? Look at this! Motherfuckers haven't even cleared up skulls and skeletons in 100 years on planet Earth, but the Enclave have done this, have they? You can't get a vacuum going. Man, they drag out this cutscene as well because they want you to be super impressed.
This is crazy.
This is
Where is
crazy. I'm in outer space, bro.
Over here. I think I found a way out. Oh shit! Things are about to get interesting.
Everyone, activate your mag boots now.
Things are about to get nauseating. I don't even know what's happening. What happened there? Mate, is that just a modified vertibird? Like, I can't.
Take point. We'll follow your lead.
Please stand clear.
Yeah, this is the bit I want to show. Wait. This cannot be Fallout. Wait. So anyway, what an absolute fucking mess. What an absolute mess. I don't even know how you fuck something up, anything up this bad. And I really don't. Also as well, there was a guy tried to sneak in a Doom asset, one of the pentagrams from like Doom 3. That was just in the game. Yeah, steal from that. No one will notice. Perfect. So, just absolutely unfathomably awful. And what a saga from start to finish. And now, they don't even know whether they're going to release the sanitized version or not. Because, hang on, let me get you the message actually. Where was it? They basically said now, oh, I've done that thing again. Have I done it again? No. There it is. Okay. So they left this message. It's time I depart. This is from the dev lead. This project has been an infinite bed of stress for me, an incredibly stressful point in my life, and I cannot in good faith or good health continue to work on the mod. The Steam build will hopefully be finalized sometime soon. Thank you to those who have supported the mod over the years and supported me. It's sad to see so many years of my... I don't know why I'm laughing. This poor cunt. Oh, God. So many of my years of my life has devolved into this, but as I've said for years, if even a single person has enjoyed the mod, then I'm happy. I've enjoyed it, mate, if that helps. I have enjoyed it. Even I'm never going to play it, but I have enjoyed it immensely. So yeah, they said their plan is to maybe put it on Steam with all of the content from the Weird Skunky Nonce out, or the lizard fucking thing out, the Deathclaw sex out. Oh, that was the other thing they said. They said it was an accident in the mod, and I'm not buying this for a second, by the way. They said all of the content that was like objectively terrible was meant to be in, like, you have this option, like the, what is it, the fucking Wild Wastelands or whatever, you know, where it's like they put the wacky shit in. In the Bethesda games, you can sort of take the wacky shit out if you want. But they said, oh, that was all meant to be flagged with that. So it was meant to be optional. Like, first of all, it would still be bad. Second of all, you can't just write that, put it in the game, and then go, meant to hide that, bro. Fucking what? Oh, mate. And there was loads of mechanical glitches with the cars and shit. Like, I don't find that stuff comical. I mean, like, you're dealing with a very old engine that didn't have vehicles in before. Like, it's fine if a car just explodes randomly from time to time. I mean, fuck, Cyberpunk 2077 did that. Think about the dev team they had. But, you know, the writing is just unforgivably bad. And you let your game get took over by a bunch of Discord gremlin fetishists. Oh, lizard sex. Sex with a death claw, indeed. Right, let's have another beer.